me tell you my story.
My skin is always like this.
Let's talk about sex and put an end to fossil fuel exploitation to prevent environmental catastrophe.
Halo semua, nama saya JJ. Hari ini saya mau bicara denganmu tentang menghubungkan orang Bali dan orang ekspat. Sebelum saya mulai, saya ingin bertanya, kalau saya memberi bilang Greenstone saya di bahasa Indonesia, ada berapa orang yang bisa mengerti? Terima kasih. For those of you who didn't understand, I explained my Greenstone topic. Today, I'll be talking to you about connecting the local community and the expat. Hello. I then asked, if I gave my whole talk in Indonesian, how many of you would understand? Always remember to apologize. My Canadian dad would always tell me. Don't forget to bow to your elders in order to show respect, my Korean mother would always say. My whole life, I've been synthesizing information from two different cultures with two completely different ideals. This has allowed me to form my own morals and beliefs based off of these two contrastive cultures. When I was 12 years old, my dad sat me, my brother, and my mother down and informed us that we would be moving to the Green School in Bali. This is something that we had never experienced before. A Hindu island in the middle of Asia. The Green School would bring a third perspective into our lives and allow us to see the world through a new set of eyes. This school would be the ultimate test for my brother and I. Our whole lives bringing in two different cultures and now being thrown into a completely different third world. At least that's what my parents envisioned. This is a quote from my dad, Tim Fijal. In my dream, I saw my kids working alongside the Ibus in the kitchen. I saw my kids learning how to tend to those beautifully terraced organic. I saw my kids knee-deep in the mud, learning about the rice cycle. I saw my kids playing gamelan. I saw my kids building with bamboo from the help of local, smiling carpenters. I saw Indonesian staff on campus as mentors and as collaborators. But what I felt upon arrival was Indonesians as our servants. When we arrived at the school, we noticed the wall dividing the two cultures. We noticed two worlds on one island. The world of the expat and the world of the Indonesian. Some of you may recognize this woman. This is a Balinese nenek that lives near the school. My family, we saw her on our first day at Green School, but from the inside of our air-conditioned car. Us, along with 100 other families that were coming into school that day, we drove right by her. None of us said hello, none of us smiled, and none of us waved. We all drove by, dust billowing in our face, and many of us wanted to connect, but none of us knew how. In the fall of 2013, my dad started Cool Cool Connection with the help of Orrin Hardy, an initiative to fulfill a local dream. They would have English classes set up after school for local kids, where students, parents, teachers, visitors could come in, not only to teach English, but more importantly, to connect with the locals and form a tight-knit community of Balinese and expats. My dad, he always says that Cool Cool Connection is about fulfilling the dream. And it's knowing that when we start to see that dream come to fruition, the benefits from both sides will be obvious, and we will truly be a shining beacon of sustainability to the world. When this project first started up, I couldn't understand its importance. I was too naive and oblivious to face the fact that my life was as separated from the Balinese as it could possibly be. I couldn't understand the value in connecting with the local community. Let's quickly go back to the photo of the Balinese nenek. I always saw myself as that kid that would roll down his window and say hello to everyone I saw. I saw myself as the kid that would connect with every single member of the Green School community. But when that time came, that moment of truth, and I saw Ibu standing there on the side of the road, I felt trapped. I sat there doing nothing. I was too trapped in my own bubble, in my own comfort zone, to simply roll down the window, smile, and say hello. Now, this is pretty consistent for me until I started my own project. For the past year, I've been going around taking photos of everyone on the island of Bali and asking for their stories. Recently, I've started a more local batch of photos. I've been going around the Green School and asking everyone 2 questions. What have you learned from Indonesians or expats, and how do you think the 2 worlds should connect? These are 2 women that cook us our delicious meals every single day. When I asked them what they learned from expats, they replied, "We haven't learned anything from bules. How are you meant to learn anything when you never talk?" I then asked them how they thought the 2 worlds should connect, and they replied, "Tersenyum, selamat pagi, apa kabar?" Smile, good morning, how are you? From both worlds, both communities need to be making an equal effort. This is a young woman from Kulkul Connection. When I asked her what she had learned from expats, she replied, "I've learned so much, much more than just English. I've learned about my responsibility to the planet, how plastic is bad, and about the palm oil plantations. I've gone on so many cool trips with Green School students, and I'm unbelievably grateful." When I asked her how she thought the 2 worlds should connect, she replied, "Going on trips together. Kalimantan was an incredible experience, and together we learned so much." This is a man who has a deep respect for the Balinese community. He is married to an Indonesian wife and has an adorable campur child. When I asked him what he had learned from locals, he replied, "Simplify life." I've always been uncomfortable with an Australian lifestyle, and when I came to Bali and married a Balinese woman, I felt right at home. Sitting on the floor, eating with your fingers, and popping into dinner unannounced, these are things that are completely ostracized in a Western society, and they are things that I love. When I asked him how he thought the two worlds should connect, he replied, "We need to be approaching the Balinese with the same humble mindset that they have. We need to be approaching them with our ears open and ready to learn." Some of you may recognize this parent. He's been at the Green School for the past 5 years and is a passionate surfer and an incredible father figure to many kids at the school. When I asked him what he had learned from locals, he said, "It is hard to even resume in a sentence what I have learned from the Balinese, because with them, every day is a life lesson. They have so much to teach us. They have a patience and a willingness to learn, and every day they are happy and grateful to be alive. They have a culture that is still vibrant in an era where people aren't really following the cultures anymore. They are so much stronger than we think, but at the same time, have incredibly soft hearts." When I asked him how he thought the two worlds should connect, he replied, "You need to be paying a deep respect for the land that you are stepping on. You need to open your heart and open your mind to the Balinese and be embracing their traditions. Then, automatically, you will be moving into their world." Finally, these are two Green School sisters who are already taking the right steps into bridging the two communities. When I asked them what they had learned from the locals, they replied, "I'm from the Indonesians, their language, their culture, and their religion." The other sister then replied, "I've learned some things about their culture, but honestly, not a lot, because I live in a community that doesn't pay attention to Indonesian culture. I've learned the most from talking to the Indonesians around me. I've learned that you can't be relying on Green School or anyone else around you. Connecting starts with yourself." As you can see, there are already people taking the right steps into bridging the two communities. And if it's not in your comfort zone, that's okay, because there are systems in place. Race to 300 is the perfect method to kickstart your Indonesian. Cool Connection has new events every single year and is always bringing in new members. But here is the most important thing to remember. We, as the Green School community, are a community of learners. We are living in Bali, and we should be learning from the Balinese and with the Balinese. We have so much room for potential growth as a community. Before I finish, I want to say thank you. Thank you to you all for being such great listeners and taking the right steps into bridging the two communities. Thank you, Cool Connection, for breaking down the initial wall. Thank you, John Hardy, for providing us this incredible space to learn and grow together. Thank you. Thank you to my classmates, my parents. Thank you to my classmates, my parents, and my teachers for providing unconditional support throughout the last year. Most importantly, thank you to the people of Bali. You are what makes the Green School community. Thank you for sharing your language, your culture, your homes, and your island. Hal yang paling penting, terima kasih untuk orang Bali. Masyarakat Bali adalah bagian terpenting dari Green School. Terima kasih telah berbagi bahasa, budaya, rumah, dan Paulo Anda. Terima kasih dan sukses semua.